Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I recently put out a video talking about how I am not having an awakening. My bags are here to stay. I am not waking up from the luxury trap that is buying luxury handbags, that I enjoy them, that it's fun. And if you do too, that's okay. And we all don't have to be jumping onto the trend that currently is awakening and wising up is what's being suggested, and realizing that all of this is a trap and it's terrible and you don't need to be doing it, and we should be evolving as better people and moving on. And I talked about in that video where I was coming from, what I was doing, and generally there were a lot of positive comments on that video. I did get a couple of people say to me, you spend too much time trying to justify your love of buying handbags and spending your money. This is not me justifying myself to you. They're here to stay. I've accepted that. I love them. This is not something that I am getting over or I want to get over. This is not something that I associate with being a problem. So it's not something that I think I need to get over. And somebody said to me in the comment box, which I thought was very insightful, that by using the word awakening, it's as if you're waking up from something that's bad and moving on. And that's the connotation with this. And I was having a chat with you in that video about how I'm not doing that. These are here to stay, and if you're still loving luxury, then that's quite all right. Nobody's choices are better than anybody else's choices. Nobody's choices are above or superior. And it's all very personal what you want to do for you. And that you make the decision of what works for you. And if you're a minimalist, fabulous. That's great. If you don't love luxury handbags, my bank manager would love you to get into my head and convince me the same thing. Because I admit this is a lot of money to be spending on bags. And there's so many other things that I could do with that money. We all could do with that money. But I make my choices for me. And I manage my own finances. I run my own business. I manage my family, my children, all of that. And my money goes where it needs to go. And some of it goes on handbags. And that's just the way it is. And that's not me justifying it to you. That's just me telling you and sharing with you where I'm at and what my view is in respect of this. And in that video, I had commented upon a video by Niki Sky and also a video by Anna Bay. And Niki Sky has just came up on my recommended video, probably because I watched the last one. And it is a video that she has put out now that she is selling and getting rid of all of her designer handbags. Every single one of them is going. Every one that has a recognizable designer logo on the bag is going and is being sold. And there does seem to be a trend at the moment of influencers, big influencers, people that would have for a long time curated and bought and had a lot of luxury and talked to us about a lot of luxury and showed immensely fabulous wardrobes and closets, that they're stepping away from it and they're selling them all and they're moving on. And Niki has said in this video that she is now selling every single one of her designer handbags that have a recognizable logo. And just out of interest, in case you're interested in any of them, coincidentally, in this video where she is saying that she does not want to be part of the herd, and I'll come to that, but she doesn't want to be caught up in this luxury trap of buying these handbags, and that she encourages you to come on the journey with her. She does have all those bags linked for sale down below in the description box with a consignment company from Canada. And there is one that I really like. There's a white woven Chanel bag that's quite unusual, that seems to be leather and wool maybe, and I'll find a picture and put it in, and it's for sale and it's lovely. I like it. Hello, interested in that one please, even though they're, you know, bad, we should move on for them, but I like that one. And if you're interested in any of these, even though the whole video is about why she's moving on from them, and we'll have a chat and talk about her reasoning, but if you're interested in any of them, they are there if you want to buy them in the video description. But anyway, she is very clear to say that this is just her personal journey. This is where she's at. This is what she feels. That she is moving on from these, and some of the language is very emotive. From somebody who studied a lot of English literature back in the day, some of the language is very, very well written and scripted and emotive, and it does its job. It's very good prose. It's obviously been well thought out. And yes, we'll talk about what it is. But she then does say, this is just me and I'm not judging you. And I'm glad she says that. That if you still love these things and you love them because you genuinely love them, then buy them. You do you is what she says. If they bring you joy, buy them. But buy them for the right reasons. And I think we can all agree with that. That if you're buying these, it should be because you genuinely love them and they express your personality. Although she does say you don't need to do that by a logo, but we're going to come to all of that. But if you genuinely love them, buy them. But buy them for the right reasons. And I have to agree with that. I do think that there are there will be people that have bought designer for the wrong reasons, maybe to fill a void, or because they thought it would make them appear as if they're more wealthy, or it would make them appear as if they're in the gang or status, or they were trying to look better. But do you know what? See if that is their reasons and they're happy with them. What's wrong with that? Who am I to tell them buy them for the right reasons? And I'm thinking that through as I'm sitting here. I'm saying to you, yes, buy them for the right reasons because you love them, and that's why I buy them. But if you're buying them because you like how it makes you look, or you think it makes you look a certain way, and that makes you happy, as long as you know what you're doing and you're happy with what you're doing, who am I to judge why you're buying bags? If that's why you're buying them, as long as you're happy with what you're doing, do that. But in this video, Niki starts by sitting in her closet, which is stunning. Beautiful, marble, huge. I would love to ask or know, what are you going to do with that now? That you're getting rid of all that stuff, because it's a stunning closet. And she says that she is tired of being part of the herd, building up a luxury collection and looking for invisible validation and falling into the trap of never having enough. Now, if that is how she feels, and she feels like she was part of a herd and that she was trying to have more and build and trying to look for some invisible validation, if that's why she was buying them, then I think it's fabulous that she has realised that she doesn't need to do that anymore, and she doesn't need to seek some sort of validation, and she doesn't need to be looking to fall into the trap of never having enough, because we have talked about this before. And one of the things that I always like to do on this channel is grasp the nettle. And if there is a topic that is uncomfortable and even makes me uncomfortable, I want to face that and look in the mirror and face what I'm doing and reflect upon it. And there is a risk, and I certainly have been there before, of never having enough and getting caught up in the hype and looking for the next thing. And the example that comes to mind, and we've talked about it till I'm blue in the face, is the green Fendi baguette that I totally bought because I was just bought up in the hype and buying things. Not because I truly, truly loved them. I did like it, but not because it was one that, like these, that I adored. I bought it because I liked it, and why not? And it was the next thing, and looking to have the next thing, and oh, this is exciting. But it never filled me with the same joy that a lot of these bags do. And it never was the one that was like, yes, I should have spent that money on that, or that makes sense. And yeah, there is a risk of that. And we don't want to get caught up in that if you're someone that wants to make considered purchases like I am. And that for me was a point where I kind of had a bit of a turning point. Not that I'm stopping buying these, but that I wanted to think about my purchases and make sure the purchases that I were making were thought out for me and loved and adored, and not just, oh, I like that, and bringing it home and buying them. That for me, they have to make me feel a certain way, and I don't want to be getting to the point of just the next one and buying one that maybe didn't reach that. So yeah, if she felt like that, well then great, you shouldn't be buying like that if that's how it's making you feel. But I do take slight issue with the description of being part of the herd and building up a luxury collection. And this is what I'm saying to you, that this was very well scripted and written, and it was emotive, and it was written in a way that was to carry a person along. And I don't agree with the description of being caught up in a herd to have a luxury collection. I have a luxury grouping collection of bags because I love them. And she's not talking to me personally. She's talking about herself. But just my thoughts on it is the descriptor of people who love to buy these bags, of being caught up in a herd mentality, and we just all run along blindly following the next one and not thinking for ourselves, and herd mentality to build this collection up. I think that's a little bit dismissive of our own individuality and our own intelligences, really. And yes, there may be, and I've said before, absolutely, there's bags I've been influenced to buy. So yes, it happens. But they're generally bags I've been influenced to buy, and because I love bags. But I don't really agree with this. It's a herd of a luxury collection and you just get brought along and you're not thinking for yourself. And I think that's a little bit dismissive. And I think it is, maybe if that's how Niki felt, then that is personal to her. But to describe it as being fed up, caught up in the luxury herd, I don't really agree with that. And I think it is a little bit undermining to sensible, intelligent people who buy these bags because they love them or because they want to have a collection, and they are making that as a choice. I make my own choices. Even if I'm influenced, I make choices. I don't think I'm part of a herd. Maybe some people do feel like that, but I don't completely agree with that descriptor. I don't take offence at it because Niki's talking about how she felt or what she feels that she was part of, but I don't agree with it. She talks about looking for invisible validation, and we've talked about that in videos before about the reaction video to luxury brands keeping you poor, and people buy bags to feel better about themselves or to portray a certain view, like I have made it, I have arrived, I can buy these bags, I get inner validation, or what did you call it, invisible validation, because I have the bags, so I feel better about myself. I love the bags. Is there a bit of walking about and having the bag and feeling proud of myself? Yeah, there can be, but is that a bad thing? Is it a bad thing that I feel proud of myself, that I have been able to work my way up from where I came from to where I am, to be able to buy these, and to buy these without putting my family, my finances, anything at jeopardy? Is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong that for me, that how I choose, or not just me, anybody who loves these bags, that I choose to buy these with my own money, and if I feel a bit good about that, that I've been able to achieve that and obtain it and earn it, is there anything wrong with that? If I'm doing it just for you to think better of me, well, that's a bit of a flawed thinking, because people don't really care what anybody else is doing. We all have this thought that there's a light bulb and that as we walk around people are watching us, but they're not. They're living their own lives. And generally in my real life, if I didn't have you guys to wax lyrical to these about and talk about these bags all the time, very few people in my real life would even notice them, would even know what they are, would even give them a second thought. So to buy them so as you think better of me? No, because I don't think that you're in real life. Obviously you guys come to share the love of bags, but I don't think people are really caring that much about what I'm carrying. But I do feel good about myself whenever I can buy them and put my outfit together and I've achieved them and I've obtained them. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Niki also says in her video about living in the matrix of mindless consumerism, and the prose is very well written. It's lovely use of the English language. Do I think that I'm living in a matrix of mindless consumerism? Well, I've never said to you I'm a minimalist. And I know I consume more than I should. And I know that I have more things than I need. Nobody needs this amount of handbags, but I love them and I enjoy them and they make me happy. Not that they make me happy on a fundamental level, as in they replace my family, my friends, my children, all of that. But as my hobby and what I carry, I love them and they make me happy and I get joy out of them. Is it a matrix of consumerism? Well, that's back to what was in the previous video that I talked about and reacted to, designer bags keeping you poor, that the marketing machines of these major houses are so strong and powerful that we're just pulled along in this matrix and we just keep buying. I haven't bought a handbag now in, I think, 5 months. So I'm certainly not in the matrix at the moment. Can we get caught up in the consumerism? Of course we can. I like to shop. And that means I can get caught up in the consumerism and I can buy things, more things that I need. I fully admit I have more things than I need, but I'm never going to be a minimalist. And as long as I'm happy with what I have and I'm being thoughtful about my purchases, that I am okay with and I can live with, as long as you're happy with what you're doing, I think that's all that matters. And if you're someone like me, because if you watch this video, and although there is a section where Niki says, I'm not judging you, and I'm not, if you still love them, you do you. If they bring you joy, you do you. She does say that. But if you watch this video and listened to this very well scripted prose, it could make you feel a little bit crappy about your choices. It could make you feel a little bit crappy about still liking to spend money and buy fancy bags and logos. Logos was mentioned quite a lot, overtly designer logos. I like a logo. So if you watch that video and you like a logo, it could impact how you feel about what you're doing and your choices and what you're choosing to wear and spend your money on. And I just want to give you my point of view that there's nothing wrong with it. I still love logos. I'm not getting rid of them. I still like them. The people that are going to buy the bags linked in the description box are still wearing the logos. So if this is you and you're like me, our way and what we're liking to do and what Niki used to like to do is no worse. It's just different. It's not less than somebody choosing to not buy them anymore and to sell everything and not wear logos. Us choosing to wear them and buy them and love them is not any less than somebody choosing not to. One part of the video that I did disagree with, and I can only talk about my own personal experience, but Niki said that she had woken up to the toxic, comparative, competitive nature of luxury shopping, and that she was taking off the shackles that made her feel unworthy, and she was stepping into her renaissance of being a confident, whole and awakened individual. Lovely writing, lovely scripting, lovely use of English language and literature. And I keep saying that because I've studied into English literature and it's definitely an emotive piece. But I have to disagree with this from my own personal experience, and I'm going to get myself a prop. Since I have joined this luxury community on YouTube and I have started to share with you the handbags that I buy and love, I have to say that, save for the odd comment, I have felt so supported. I have felt so uplifted. I think the community that we have and are establishing on my channel is just fabulous. I have got so much joy from connecting with a lot of you. I get so many supportive comments about my choices and encouraging me to give myself a break when even I feel a bit guilty about what I'm spending, and supporting the pieces that I'm buying and sharing in the joy and the excitement and the absolute wonderfulness that is of unboxing a new bag and you guys getting involved in it. And I have to say that this has been such a positive for me. And I don't live in a place that's highly designer, but I certainly now have a group of men and women, because there's men in here too. There's Nick, there's Connor, there's Jane. And I do not feel, within the people that I know, maybe I have just been lucky with all of the ones that I have met, I don't feel like it's competitive. I don't feel like it's comparative. I don't feel like we're all fighting each other to have the biggest or the best collections. If we're all going to fight over the biggest collection, can we just give the crown to my dear friend Meredith, because she has more bags than most of us, I think. And I don't feel though that there's any competitiveness in that. I do not feel like any of the people that I connect with and talk to are competing or trying to get more than I have or better than I have or different than I have. I feel like we all really genuinely support each other. I feel like Meredith and I, for example, love a lot of the same bags. If there is a bag that one of us has and the other is trying to get, it is genuine support and trying to find the same bag for the other person. It's not like I want to have it, not let Meredith have it. It's can we find it so we can both have it. Deb from Wild Unfiltered, when I decided I wanted the Louis Vuitton Pharrell Speedy, let me help you with my connections in London, because I shop in Dublin more. Let me help you try and make that happen. Even though I won't have one to show on my channel if that's what it's about. She didn't care about that. Let me help you get it. When I wanted the sequins baguette up here in the purple rain that you can see poking through, Dale was the first person that I know on YouTube to have that. And I messaged Dale saying, this is available and I love it. She was like, oh my goodness, bad. There wasn't a hint of, I want to be the one to have that. I want it to be on my collection or my channel. There wasn't a hint of it. It was, buy it. What I lifted was my picture. And this is myself and Dale and Meredith. And I feel blessed and honoured to have met these two women, and more, which we'll come to have met these two women. They're so supportive. There's no competition. It's friendship goals. It's complete and utter support. And I have to say that in this video, because the discussion in Niki's video about the competitive nature and the competing and the one-upmanship and have more and do it first, I have to tell you that honestly, that my experience is that has not been there. That has not been what I have encountered with any of these people. You saw the vlogs that we all put out when we were in London. I can't remember how many of us was there, but there was quite a group. Gwenny was there, Lisa was there, Claire was there, Han was there, Leslie Adina was there, Steph was there, Deb from Wild Unfiltered was there, I was there, Dale, Meredith, who am I? I'm sure I'm missing someone and I'm going to be annoyed at myself if I have. Nick was there. So many of us was there. Not a bit of competition. Not a bit of I have more, I'm better, any of that. It was just completely and utterly uplifting. When I first, my Birkin. When I first got my Birkin, and we've talked about how I got this on this channel, Birkin is a big thing for me. The support and the comments that I got for finally getting this Birkin was amazing. Jerusha from Jerusha Couture, who I don't know if I knew at the time or maybe had chatted a little bit with, Jerusha had a whole segment in one of her videos about how much joy she got watching me unbox this because I was genuinely so happy about it. She didn't need to do that to her much bigger audience and lift me up by talking about my unboxing. Like it's just the competitive nature that's being discussed. And I'm sure there are other people that have had that, and there are going to be plenty of examples, no doubt, in the comment box agreeing and saying yes, it is very competitive and it is not nice and it is all about that. But I just wanted to give you my experience and what I've experienced with all of the people that I have met through this. Nobody really in my real life, apart from Bestie, has any interest. So it's people I've met online, and the support has just been unbelievable and uplifting. And Niki says in her video that we should be uplifting each other and we should be supporting each other and we shouldn't be competing, and that luxury is a way that we compete and we don't uplift each other. My experience is completely the opposite. My experience has been fabulous, that we have uplifted each other, not competed with each other, and been so genuinely happy for each other. Niki said in her video that she no longer feels that handbags align with her own inner knowing and that she doesn't need them to feel worthy. If that is your personal choice, I don't think anybody needs a logo or a handbag to feel worthy, or shouldn't need a handbag or a logo to feel worthy. Hopefully we all get to a point in our lives that we know ourselves enough and are confident enough in who we are that we know we're worthy, because of course you're worthy. Without a handbag, without a logo, of course you're worthy. Absolutely, of course you're worthy. No handbag makes a person. No handbag makes a person whole. No handbag makes a person suddenly worthy if they weren't before. So if that's something that she has felt, then yeah, I agree, you should not need a logo or a handbag to make you feel as if you're suddenly worthy. And she did say that by wearing designer logos, she now feels like she's flaunting it to the world that she has made it. If that's how she feels and she doesn't want to wear them anymore, that's entirely her personal choice. And that's what she says throughout her video. I wear them because I feel good about them and I love them. And I suppose, and I've said this in other videos, there is a pride to myself that I've been able to buy bags that I could only dream about before. And if that means that I'm flaunting it, I don't mean to be doing it to put anybody else down. And I'm not explaining myself here. Well, I am explaining myself here. I'm not doing it because I feel like I have to. I'm just explaining how I feel. And I love to wear them and feel good about myself with them. And I'm not thinking about making anybody else think anything else, because I kind of feel like everybody else lives in their own lane and doesn't really care what I'm doing. She goes on again to talk about women being in constant competition, and that we all want to have the latest and the greatest, and we want to be the one that spends the most on our wardrobe and our lifestyle, and how this is ridiculous and it has to stop. And as women, we need to support each other and connect and encourage one another. Again, that has not been my experience at all of luxury shopping. I don't think that any of us in the group that I've talked about is competing about how much we spend on our wardrobes or on our bags or on anything. I have never felt like that. I have never felt like any of that. And I wonder if that's maybe something that, and a personal experience that Niki has had and has made her feel like that. If that is an experience she's had, I think that's very sad that someone's made her feel like that. But I don't necessarily think that that links to everyone that enjoys buying luxury and buys luxury together or in a group. I just, that's not the experience that I have had. She also talks about designer logos and that she doesn't believe that designer logos are how to express yourself, and that true personal style doesn't need to be a logo. Absolutely. True personal style, though, doesn't also have to not be a logo. Just because I choose to wear a logo, I'm thinking Cassie Thorpe chooses to wear a logo and has a very strong sense of personal style. I think a lot of us could see certain things and think, oh, that's Cassie, because she has a very strong personal sense of style. So yeah, you don't need a logo to have a personal sense of style, and a logo doesn't make your personal sense of style. But likewise, you don't have to avoid wearing logos to have a personal sense of style. Just because you wear logos doesn't mean you don't have a personal sense of style. Just because you wear logos doesn't mean that you're blindly following the herd and having no sense of style and just wearing what you're told to wear. It's a complete generalisation and assumption about anybody that wants to wear a logo. Just like people that don't wear logos doesn't mean they necessarily have a stronger sense of personal style. I think this is individual to absolutely everybody. And yes, you don't need to wear logos, but likewise, you don't need to not wear them. Now, Niki does go on to talk about the lies that we have been told to encourage us and keep us buying luxury. Some of these I have to say I agree with. First one, it's not an investment. Absolutely it's not. I have made a video before very bluntly saying that in my view, designer handbags are not investments. These, I'm not a financial advisor, but in my view, if you're looking somewhere to invest your money and your purpose of buying the thing is to invest your money, handbags is not the best place to put it. If you are looking somewhere to invest your money, there are much better financial investments. If you're buying a handbag because you love it and you get a little bit of comfort over the fact that, well, if I sold it down the line, I could probably get most of my money back, that's different. That's, you love the bag, but you're getting comfort over the price. But if it's solely as an investment, there are much better financial investments, in my opinion, than handbags. Most of these you will sell at a loss because you have selling fees, you have shipping fees, you have to get the sale, you might need to use a consignor. There are only certain bags that if you'd bought years ago or you were lucky enough to get onto a certain very sought after bag at retail price and you kept it pristine and never used it, that yes, you're going to make money on it. But that's the exception. That's not the general rule. And I agree, I don't think they are financial investments. Number 2 is that they are a status symbol. We've already talked about that. How you choose to wear them, if you think they're a status symbol, is personal. I don't actually think that just because you wear a designer bag, everybody else is looking at you and suddenly thinking that you're better or you've made it, or yes, people that like myself who are interested in designer bags, I will notice your bag. I will notice if you've got a nice bag on, like, oh, I like your bag. But do I think that they open doors for you, or they make you feel, or they make other people think that you're suddenly reached a certain status? Deb made a video talking about the Birkin, and if you're carrying the Birkin in certain places, like if you're in an Hermes appointment maybe, that the Birkin will open certain doors and it will make things certainly easier for you. But generally speaking, does wearing a handbag mean that you suddenly get privileges? I guess in luxury circles, if you are someone that is known to the brand and you spend a lot of money on the brand, you will get invited to things. But does it inherently make you somebody that has achieved more? No. Does it mean that the vast majority of the world out there are looking at you and thinking that you have reached a certain status or you're better than anybody else? No. Does it make you better than anybody else? No. If you have a relationship with the brand, it'll just mean they invite you to things like the fashion shows or whatever. But in this context, I think it was being talked about in a much wider context, and that Joe Blogs on the street would suddenly think that you have achieved more. No, I don't think it's for that. And I don't think that that's the benefit of having them. I think you buy them if you love them. You buy them if you want to collect them. Number 3, that they're classic and timeless. Well, that certainly depends what you buy. Mine aren't classic and timeless. They're bright pink. They're sequenced. They're coloured. They're classic and timeless insofar as this is my style. So there's bags here I bought years ago that I will still wear and still use, and I will still bring them out. Do I convince myself to buy them by telling myself they're classic and timeless? No, I buy them if I love them. If I think there's something I'm going to wear for years, I buy them. Does it have to be classic and timeless? It very much depends on what you buy. If you buy a lot of neutrals, they are classic and timeless and you will wear them forever. But ultimately, I think it comes down to buying what you love. Number 4 is that you want to hand them down to future generations, and that society encourages us to attach emotional value to these items because it encourages us to keep buying them. And Niki's saying that she wants to hand down stories, lifestyle and memories to her children and not things. Of course we do. Of course, we want to touch the children in our lives, the people in our lives who don't necessarily have to be our own children, with memories and stories and feelings of safety and love and security. And we want them to grow up carrying all of those wonderful enriched memories with them and those enriched feelings. I think for the vast majority of us, that is a given. But I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I don't think that you can want to hand down memories and feelings and all those very warm and supportive things to your children or the people in your lives, but you can't also want to hand them down things or bags. I think there's nothing wrong with also wanting to have pieces in your collection that you will hand down to your children. I'm thinking Meredith here because I know she has a daughter. I'm thinking Deb because I know one of Deb's daughters is currently rocking the saddle bag and loving it. Is that not fabulous that it was her mum's and now she's using it? Meredith's daughter's a little bit young to get at some of the bags just yet, but is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with having pieces that you've bought, and as well as you loving them, you also get joy out of the fact you can pass them on to somebody? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's actually very lovely, and I think it's quite special. And number 5 is that they're hard to get, and this is a lie that we're told. Some things are hard to get, and yeah, it does encourage us to want to buy them, and of course it increases the hype and it makes us FOMO and spend. That's marketing. It's a marketing machine and it works. And would we all want, I've said this before, where is it? Would we all want the Birkin as much if there was plenty of them on the shelves? Probably not. Probably not. So she's probably right on this one. And one of the things that I did notice in Niki's video is there's a lot of footage interspersed throughout the video of her children and her children looking happy and spending time with her children and creating these memories. Now, I can't do the same on my video because I don't put my children on the internet or put them in my videos. I'm not saying my choice to not do that is any better than Niki's to do it. That's just my personal choice. But even though I still love all of these things, I still have plenty of footage that I could put in and show you of me spending quality time with my children, of taking them on holiday, of sitting in the pool, of going on trips, of their little faces absolutely lit up with excitement and joy and love and just absolute enjoying where they are. And I don't think that because any of us that are interested in this, these are tiny little parts of our personality and tiny little parts of our interest. And it's not as if by being interested in this and spending time on this, that I'm not spending time, and I'm sure I'm talking for the vast majority of us who love these things, that I'm not spending time with my children and I'm not giving them experiences, and I'm not spending the vast majority of my time on that rather than this, and bringing them to places and just enjoying them and loving them. And that footage, I wish I could put my own footage in to show that that still applies. I can't because I won't put my children in, but it's not, again, mutually exclusive. And I think that's just worth saying. What do you think? What do you think? And I know some people are going to say to me, why are you talking about this again? Because it fascinates me. And I think it's very interesting whenever these videos are made from people who had huge collections and shopped a lot and showed us all of their things and now are saying they're selling everything. And some of the language is a bit emotive, and I think it's interesting. And also, if you watch that video and it made you feel like you were maybe not doing the right thing by still loving these things, I just wanted to share my experience and how I feel about the competitiveness or lack of it, and my experience of still loving these bags. And I would love to know what you think in the comment box, and love to know what you think about this whole discussion. So please do come in and let me know. But one thing I will say is there is space in this world for all of our opinions, and when we leave them, we can do so respectfully and not to hurt or attack other people. And I would just ask you to bear that in mind. Thank you so much for watching this. If you enjoyed it in any way, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please do consider subscribing. And if you're not done with me yet, I'm going to leave another video for you on the screen to enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching me. Please take care, and I will see you again in the next one.